Sports Special is a presentation of the New Orleans Saints Radio TV Network. The new New Orleans Saints for all of Louisiana and the San Diego Chargers in Game 4 of the 1985 preseason. Welcome to Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, live via satellite from beautiful Southern California. I'm Larry Matson along with Jim Henderson. It's a beautiful night here for football, and we're looking forward to the opening kickoff of the final preseason game of this preseason. The biggest question concerning the training camp this year has to be, I would think, the quarterback derby.
Well, there's still 3 of them in it. You wonder, in trying to please everyone, is Bum Phillips again this year pleasing no one? Dave Wilson says he thinks he should be the starter. Perhaps on the evidence of the preseason, he should be as well. He thinks if he is, he should play 3 quarters tonight. Richard Todd says if Dave Wilson is indeed the starter, he does deserve to play 3 quarters. And yet, from what we hear, all 3 of them will play once more.
The major concern of training camp right now perhaps is around the offensive line. 3 injuries right there at the offensive guard position.
Well, they're still down to their 4th and 5th guards. No telling when Brad Edelman will be back. They hope perhaps next week for the Kansas City game. Calvin Clark is still hurt. He can't practice on that injured arch, so that is a very big area of concern. The Saints haven't had their #1 offensive line together since the first regular season game last year against the Falcons.
The Saints were dead last in the giveaway-takeaway ratio a year ago. That's something that they want to improve on, but it's something hard and very difficult to work on in training camp.
They've got to do that. I see the Saints improve defensively this year from last year. I think they'll somewhat be back to the level that they were 2 years ago. And yet I still see the offense as being a ponderous one that will not strike quickly. So this year the Saints defense has got to take more of the burden on their shoulders, and they have got to create turnovers so this offense doesn't have to go so far to put points on the board.
You know, every training camp has its surprises. This year's biggest surprise perhaps is none other than Eric Martin out of LSU.
The 7th round draft choice. He has been the one impact player we've seen come out of the draft so far. Also, I think Lindsey Scott, who's leading the team in receiving after 3 preseason games, has been a surprise. But then again, Lindsey's had good preseasons before.
Last year, the Saints had trouble stopping the run, but that was without Tony Elliott and Derlin Moore, who was not healthy. This year, Derlin seems to be healthy, and Tony Elliott is here.
Both appear to be all the way back, and certainly in a 3-4 defense, you can't afford to have your 1st and 2nd line guys missing at that one position as the Saints had last year.
And a big question mark surrounds this entire coaching staff. How patient will the fans be with Bum Phillips in '85?
I've been somewhat surprised. I thought as close as the team came to leaving the town of New Orleans last year that there'd be a great groundswell of patience for the team since they've gotten them back. I don't see that. I see a great undercurrent of unrest, and I don't think the fans in New Orleans will give this team an awful lot of time should they get off to a struggling start.
Well, we're looking forward to the kickoff, and that kickoff is coming up. It's just moments away. All right, there's a good shot of Bum Phillips. The toss of the coin is yet to be made, but it will be made here shortly. The captains for the San Diego Chargers will be Billy Ray Smith, number 54, Woody Lowe, number 51, Charlie Joyner, number 18, and Ed White, number 67, as you take a look at the Saints sideline. And the Saints captains apparently will be Ricky Jackson and Steve Court. Looks like Frank Watlett down there as well, getting ready to go to midfield as they get the cue for the toss of the coin. When you talk about the Saints and the Chargers, well, Dave Wilson's going to be a captain. He's heading out to midfield right now to join Court, Watlett, and Ricky Jackson for the day's toss of the coin. There's some veterans down there when you talk about Joyner and White. 34 years between them, 17 each.
Yeah, especially with White. Boy, if you want to have longevity in the NFL, grow up to be an offensive lineman, because those guys play forever, and White is certainly indicative of that. 17 years out of California. He's the 4th oldest player in the league.
Heads, tails.
And they're talking it over. Let's go down and see if we can pick up some of the audio
Tails
there.
Is the call. Heads is the coin. Chargers choice. You want the football? Your choice of goal.
So the Chargers have won the toss. They'll take the ball.
San Diego wins the toss. We'll receive this end. Good luck.
And they'll receive down to our left as we view it here high above the stadium floor on this beautiful Friday night in Southern California. Chargers will have the first offensive opportunity. It'll be interesting right away to see what offense they do employ, Jim, because you're not going to show a whole lot here in 1985's final preseason. The quarterback situation, of course, Dan Fouts will not play, and Bruce Matheson was a question mark until just a moment ago. We'll find out if he's going to take the field. Looks like he will. He's got his helmet on.
Well, both of these teams are very banged up along the offensive line, and the winner of tonight's game, really in the long run, might be the one that comes out of it with the fewest injuries, despite what the score reads on the scoreboard at game's end. The Chargers have got wholesale changes along their offensive line, and of course it's well documented the Saints' problems, in particular at guard, as they're down to their 4th and 5th guards at those positions. This is the first preseason meeting between these two teams since 1972. The Chargers lead the preseason series 3-1.
All right, the Chargers are dressed in their dark blue jerseys with their yellow or gold numerals, white pants. The Saints dressed in their black pants and white jerseys and black numerals as Morton Anderson prepares the kickoff. And looks like Adams and Lionel James will be deep. Kick will be taken about 3 yards deep by Curtis Adams. He's out to the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20. For a moment there, he didn't appear to want to take the football out of the end zone, and did. He brought it out to about the 22-yard line. So we're underway. Final preseason game of 1985. Jim mentioned that the one thing you want to do is come out of this game without an injury. You might see a finesse game here tonight rather than a physical game. I'll make it. Bruce Matheson will be the starting quarterback, and he is the guy that we expected to see if his hand was healthy. Mark Herman, the number 3 quarterback, has not played in preseason yet. High back, something you probably won't see in the regular season, and the handoff goes to the right side, Ernest Jackson. And Jackson gets it out to about the 25-yard line, a gain of 3.
Number 20.
So that'll bring up second down and about 7 as Bruce Clark, Tony Elliott, and Jim Wilkes will start on the front down linemen for the Saints. The linebacking core will be headed up by All-Pro Ricky Jackson. Glenn Redd is the starter tonight, along with Dennis Winston and Whitney Paul. Redd still in place of Doc Kovat. The secondary, Waymer and Poe at the corners, and Gary and Watlett at the safety. Second down, and wanting to throw is Matheson out of the backfield. Complete and out to about the 27-yard line. Not much room, and Ernest Jackson gets it out to a couple of yards. We'll call it about 3rd down and 5 coming up. Jackson was the only Pro Bowler for San Diego last year. He replaced Chuck Muncie in the 2nd week of the season as the starter, and then proceeded to set a club record for rushing. He's quite a player.
Saints fans are probably wondering who is Bruce Matheson. There is your starter for the San Diego Chargers in recent years, and a fine one he is, Dan Fouts, but he's sidelined by a slight groin pull, and Bruce Matheson, a 3rd-year player out of Nebraska, is in there.
3rd and 5, and a split backfield, wanting to pass Matheson, incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th and 5, and the Saints will get their opportunity now here in the early going of the first quarter. On a beautiful Southern California evening, it's a bit warmer than what their normal temperatures would be out here. It usually gets much cooler in the evening, and we expect the temperatures to drop tonight. Ralph Boshenko will be the punter. Well, they're throwing these names at us this year, aren't they, with the foreigners coming into the National Football League. Last week we had that fellow from Tampa Bay. This week we got Moshenko, who's kicked a 58-yarder in the preseason. Kick is away, and it is a short one. Eric Martin is deep and won't have a chance to field it. It's going to bounce around the inside the 30, inside the 25, and be down at about the 23-yard line. The short punt, but it bounced a Charger bounce, and the Saints will have it just inside their own 23-yard line.
Ball officially marked on the 23.
And Dave Wilson will be the starting quarterback, along with Earl Campbell and Hokie Gaijan in the backfield. Dave Wilson getting the 4th consecutive start in preseason. Goodlow and Martin will be the wide receivers. Hobie Brenner, again, the tight end. Martin, the surprise of training camp so far. The interior line bolstered by Steve Cord at center, and of course they've got Ralph Williams, who plays just about everywhere in there, and it's a good thing they've got him with all the injuries at guard. 1st and 10, I backs Earl Campbell, right side. He's going to get out to about the 27-yard line.
Number 35, Earl.
So that's a gain of almost 5 yards on a 1st down carry. Very vanilla offense for both ball clubs here as we're getting underway. Williams, Ian, and Ferguson, the down linemen for the Chargers. King, Green, Billy Ray Smith. What a player he has been in college and pros. And Bradley, the linebackers. Walters and Davis, the cornerbacks. Bird and Jeffrey Dale out of LSU is the free safety, the starter, a rookie. 2nd down, 5, 28-yard line. Dave Wilson, handoff, straight ahead, Gaijan trying to get to the left side and gets it close to the 30-yard line. He's about 3 yards short of a 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3.
Keith Ferguson very nearly caught him in the backfield, but Hokie stepped out of that tackle and picked up yardage. Number 76, Keith Ferguson, starting at right defensive end in place of Fred Robinson, the usual starter there. The Chargers perennially have problems on defense, and they've drafted 5 defensive backs this year trying to shore up a very shaky secondary, and we'll talk more about that as the game develops.
3rd down and 3, and the Saints are going with 3 wide receivers. Nickel defense for the Chargers. Short yardage play. Wilson wanting to throw, has to complete to Martin on a good catch at the 40. 1st down out to the 45-yard line. Boy, you talk about some good hands. He just reached up and plucked that ball out of the air.
That dog can hunt, can he? That was a great catch by Martin on a ball that was really thrown behind him. But he's shown all year long in preseason some superb hands, and he has been the find of this draft thus far.
A 7th rounder out of LSU, a kick return specialist as a freshman with the Tigers. Didn't return kicks later on, but he'll return kicks this year in 1985 for the New Orleans Saints. I-backs, wideouts left and right. Goodlow in motion farther out to the right, and the handoff goes to Campbell straight ahead, and he gets banged around a little bit, and he gets maybe 2 yards out to the 47-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 8. We're in the first quarter, no score, 11:23 to play in the quarter, and the Saints have moved the ball from their own 23 out to the 47 now. We're at 2nd down and 8.
The Saints are going with Steve Cord at center and Ralph Williams at right guard, Joel Hilgenberg at left guard. An area of great concern for them in Brad Edelman's absence, also Kelvin Clark's.
2nd and 8. Goodlow to the left, Martin to the right. 1 back offense, motion on the line, no flags. Dropping to throw is Wilson. Under pressure, unloads it to Brenner, incomplete. And back at the 41-yard line, Dave Wilson paid the price. He was decked hard as he unloaded that pass incomplete to his good friend and fellow Southern Californian, Obie Brenner.
Dave started getting a little bit of happy feet in there as he knew he couldn't stand in there forever and couldn't find anyone open. Finally, he had Brenner open, but not before the rush of Lee Williams from left defensive end got to him. Don Coryell, the head coach of the San Diego Chargers, trying to come off a 7-9 season, as is Bum Phillips.
Shotgun formation for the Saints on 3rd down and 8. 3 wide receivers going out. Wilson having to dance around, chased out of the pocket, fires incomplete, almost picked off. Very close to an interception was rookie Wayne Davis, the cornerback, and he's got good speed, a 2nd-round draft choice out of Indiana State.
The pressure was applied by Earl Wilson, a Kentucky rookie. The ball nearly was intercepted, so the Saints will have it now up at their 47-yard line, and Brian Hansen will be angling for the corner on the left.
You had Earl Wilson chasing Dave Wilson, trying to find Eric Martin, a rookie out of the LSU, and I tell you, he goes to Eric Martin in 3rd down situations a lot. Brian Hansen back to punt, gets it away. The Pro Bowler has a beauty, high sailing spiral. It'll be fielded at the 11-yard line. Like Lionel James hit by Scotty Pallure out up to the 18-yard line. I'm surprised he fielded that ball, but he was able to get 5 or 6 yards on the return. And Little Train James gets it out to the 18-yard line. So there's a break in the action here in San Diego with the first quarter, 10:36 to play, nothing. 10:36 remaining in the first quarter, no score in the game. Saints and Chargers, Jack Murphy Stadium, Larry Matson along with Jim Henderson in San Diego, California. I don't think there's a player on the Saints team that didn't enjoy coming out a little bit early because of the hurricane threat. Or a broadcast night, and that's true. Came out last night, arrived here about midnight, but we certainly have enjoyed being in Southern California. 1st and 10 from the 18. Pitch out goes to Ernest Jackson. Chargers have it out to the 25-yard line on a good hard run by Jackson. Hit by Frank Wadlett, Jim Kovacs. Looks like Whitney Paul getting off the bottom of that pile, number 51.
Ernest Jackson, a 3rd-year man out of Texas A&M, came in the 8th round in 1981. In 83, he only carried for 39 yards. Was really a forgotten man of the Charger backfield last year. With Chuck Muncie gone, they gave him the ball more often, and he gained 1,179 yards and went to the Pro Bowl, the only member of the Chargers to do so.
High back, slot left formation, handoff straight ahead. Looks like Adams will get it out to about the 28, 29-yard line, very close to a 1st down. On 2nd down 4, he's going to be close enough to, I think they'll measure it. And if they do, yes, they will. That'll give us a little time to mention a couple of things here. One, Bum Phillips did not make the trip out last night with the team, although it was a hurry-up rush trip to avoid the threat of the hurricane. And he remained back because John Paul Young, the linebacker coach, was undergoing surgery. We want to wish John Paul Young a speedy recovery. I think he had a problem with a disc. And David Waymer says specifically, Larry, you tell John Paul that I'm going to pick one off for him tonight.
Yeah, and Ricky Jackson's wearing a towel that says JP on it. And Jim Kovach said that if John Paul doesn't come back soon, he's got his eye on being a player coach. So that's probably got JP up and around already, that threat.
Gil Byrd, a strong safety for the Chargers defense, on the sideline with a headset on, talking upstairs probably to find out what's going on and what to do when they get back on defense, which is hopefully soon. A swing pass out to Jackson. Jackson will get it out on the first down play to about the 33-yard line. There was a first down on the measurement as we were talking about John Paul Young. Ernest Jackson can also catch the football when you consider that 39 receptions isn't too bad when that would have led the Saints last year had he been a Saint.
That's right. They throw it to everybody. The Chargers do, although that's the first reception of preseason for Jackson.
Second down 6, ball at the 33-yard line. Handoff straight ahead, and a big pile up there, maybe out to the 35-yard line. We'll give him a gain of 3. Looks like Curtis Adams again, the rookie out of Central Michigan. Or was it Spencer, 43? Let's get the bottom of the pile and check it out. I think it was Spencer. That's his first carry. He is the 3rd leading rusher career-wise in the USFL. He might end up being that if the league does not come back.
The Saints now will employ their nickel. The nickel back will be Russell Gary, as the Saints will bring in another safety. It's Watlett and Hogue, the safeties. Gary, the nickel back.
Split backfield, 3rd down, a long 3 from the 35. Pass deflected and caught by the quarterback for a loss inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. Matheson threw the ball. It was deflected by a defensive lineman and caught in the air. He would have been better off dropping the ball.
Yeah, he would have.
But he gets a reception and a completion, so it helps that record pretty good. He catches it himself.
Looked like it was Bruce Clark in the middle of that line who got a big paw up, and Matheson doesn't get many completions or many chance to complete passes, so he was going to take advantage of it if it meant getting it himself. He's an interesting story. Only threw 33 passes in his collegiate career at Nebraska.
Punt formation now on 4th down and 10. Boshenko's left-footed boot is better than the first one, sailing down to Eric Martin. Fair catch taken at the 26-yard line. He had David Rackley up front to block for him, but Eric misjudged that ball. He stepped up and then had to reach back like an outfielder to make the grab. Well, there's a break in the action here in Jack Murphy Stadium. A timeout. First quarter, 8:08 to play. In the first quarter score, Saints nothing, Chargers nothing. Larry Matson, Jim Henderson, Jack Murphy Stadium, San Diego, 0-0, Saints and Chargers. Final preseason game of 1985. And the Saints have the football, 1st down and 10 at their own 26-yard line. Eric Martin, the rookie, comes out wide to the left. Eye backs behind Dave Wilson. Wide out to the right is Eugene Goodlow. Tight end is Hobie Brenner, lined up on the right side. Handoff Gaijan straight ahead, and Hokie moves the big pileup out to about the 30-yard line. So he gains 4. We'll call it 2nd down, 6 coming up.
Hokie leading the team in preseason average per rush, just as he did during the regular season last year when he averaged 6 yards per carry. This year he's averaging 7.1 and owns the Saints' longest carry from the line of scrimmage, 33 yards. He can make that pile move as he did there for a pickup of about 5.
So it's 2nd down and officially 5 yards to go for the first down, just across the 30-yard line. Split backfield behind Wilson with Eric Martin on the right side this time as Wilson drops to throw. Looks down the middle, fires complete, tight end Brenner has it at the 40, and that should be enough for a first down out near the 41-yard line.
Hobie just reads the linebackers, the inside linebackers in this case, Mike Green and Billy Ray Smith. Hooks up between them, and his former roommate Dave Wilson finds him as the Saints pick up a first down. They've got it up above their own 40-yard line. Hobie, a native of Southern California, and he had a lot of people on hand at the hotel last night to greet him.
Now, Lou Holtz has been around football a long time. He says the best football player I've ever been around is Billy Ray Smith, and that was when Billy Ray played for him at Arkansas. High backfield again, 1st and 10. Gaijan left side, big hole, 45, 50, 45 again, and out of bounds on the near sideline down to the Charger 40-yard line. First penetration for either ball club tonight. On a good run for Hokie Gaijan. He was finally pulled down out of bounds.
Wrinkle we haven't seen there before. A sucker play, really, when you've got the guard coming around. In the case of Ralph Williams leading Hokie Gaijan, it was a fake toss and sweep to the right. Came back along the other way and a counter and a big pickup for Hokie, who hits that hole very quickly and with a great deal of explosion. And The Saints now down to the 40-yard line of the Chargers, 1st and 10.
Jeffrey Dale out of LSU, the free safety, a rookie, was the man who finally got him bumped out of bounds on the near sideline. 1st and 10, 40-yard line. Straight ahead, right side this time. Looks like Earl Campbell will get it down to near the 35-yard line. Saints playing very conservatively. So are the Chargers. This game is expected to be a conservative vanilla football game, the final preseason game. Neither team wants to experiment too much and show too much of their opponent for next week, and they don't want to risk the possibility of injury. But Campbell gets it inside the 35-yard line, where it's now 2nd down and 5 to go.
The collision between a couple of big boys. Steve Court, the center for the Saints, and Chuck Ian, a third-year nose tackle out of BYU. One goes 265, Ian, Court 271.
2nd down, 5 yards to go. Play action pass. Wilson drops the throw over the middle. Leaping effort, incomplete. Eric Martin tried to go up and pull it down and could not grab a hold of the ball and went all the way into the end zone and out of it. Incomplete.
And another LSU Tiger, a former teammate, Jeffrey Dale, number 37, definitely had Eric Martin in his sights.
Yeah, he did. They were teammates just last year for the Sugar Bowl bound Tigers. So it's 3rd down and 5 at the 35-yard line. And Morton Anderson, I'm sure, has got that leg ready to go if they don't get the 1st down here. Goodlow wide to the left, slot right formation with Jeff Groth coming in motion back to the left side, dropping to throw. Dave Wilson on 3rd down over the middle. A nice catch by Hokie Gaijan inside the 30. Should be enough for a 1st down. Did they rule it complete? That's the key, and I believe they did. The ball was poorly thrown behind Hokie, who had to reach back, and fullbacks aren't known for their ability to pull down passes like that, but he made a catch on that one.
And you remember a big catch he made last week in the 1st half against Tampa Bay that kept the Saints drive alive. Hokie belittles his own pass-catching ability, but nobody on the Saints does. He can do it all, and that's one of the things he's really worked at and developed throughout his NFL career.
This drive started at their own 26-yard line. Now it's 1st and 10 at the Charger 29. First quarter, no score, 5:19 to play. One back offense. Wilson to throw, going for it all toward Brenner. Brenner, no, it's incomplete at the 5-yard line. He reached out trying to make the grab, could not hold on. Penalty flag was dropped, and Bird was on the coverage, the strong safety, Gil Bird, a 3rd-year man out of San Jose State.
Saints were in their ace backfield with 2 tight ends. Brenner was one of them, crossing from right to left. He had a step on Bird, but the ball just slightly overthrown. There's a flag down on the play, and we'll see who it's going to go against.
Gordon McCarter is the referee.
Offside, number 99, lined up in the neutral zone. 1st down, 5.
And that's Lee Williams, who has come over to San Diego from the USFL. He played in 8 games last year for the Chargers. They played with the LA Express also in '84. He was a #1 draft choice, a supplemental draft in '84 from Bethune-Cookman. That brings up 1st and 5 now from the Charger 24. One back offense, play action pass, faking to Campbell. Wilson steps up, throws, complete at the 10-yard line. Nice catch by Eugene Goodlow. And Dave Wilson threw that ball right over the head of the cornerback, Wayne Davis.
Yeah, and also Lyndon King, the left outside linebacker, had the short zone there, and he made a leaping attempt for it as well. He leads them in preseason interceptions with 2, so he's a very active linebacker, but Wilson was able to complete the pass there. And speaking of active linebackers, Elvin Tolles looking on from the sideline. He could figure prominently in Saints plans in the days and weeks ahead, because Dennis Winston doesn't expect to be around past Tuesday, or at least through the end of the week. He thinks he'll be elsewhere.
1st and goal just inside the 10-yard line. They cannot get a 1st down. In motion, Gaijan, the wham block. Handoff, right side, Campbell down to the 5-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 5. Earl Campbell did not have a particularly good game last week, but that's certainly not indicative of the camp he has had this year.
Yeah, I think really this year, when it's all over, when it's all said and done, Earl Campbell will have been a more productive ball carrier for the Saints than George Rogers would have. George is certainly running behind a better and more stable line up in Washington, but the question is, of course, how many years more can Earl Campbell run compared with George Rogers?
Goodlow to the left, in motion, Gaijan. Handoff on 2nd and goal to Campbell, hit behind the line, but he skirms his way inside to the 4-yard line. Good defensive play that almost stopped him for a loss by Carlos Bradley out of Wake Forest. a linebacker.
Bradley up tight to the line, was pinching in, headed red all the way, and Gaijan couldn't really get much of a piece of him with the lead block from his fullback position. And Bradley, the fifth-year man out of Wake Forest, the Demon Deacon, makes the tackle.
3:15 to play in the first quarter. No score. Saints ball. Third down and goal at the Charger 4-yard line. One back offense. Gaijan in motion. Jeff Groth dropping to throw. Wilson fires in zone. Touchdown. The grab is made by Eric Martin of LSU. Boy, what an impact player he has been for the Saints, a 7th-round draft choice.
Well, we remember back in the first preseason game against the Patriots, Martin was running a pattern in the end zone. When he found the coverage, he just stopped, and Dave Wilson found him. Same thing occurred here. He was in double coverage, but found himself between Jeffrey Dale and the cornerback, just stopped about a yard into the end zone, and Dave Wilson really had some mustard on that fastball and connected for the touchdown.
And Morton Anderson will be called on now for the extra point try. Guido Merkins will hold. Waiting for the snap. Placement is made. Kick is up. And it is good. So the Saints score first on their second possession of the game. A 74-yard drive in 11 plays. And a timeout with a score. The Saints 7, the Chargers nothing. Completed 7-0 here in the first quarter with 3:01 to play as Morton Anderson prepares to kick off. And it'll be Lionel James and Curtis Adams once again deep for the Chargers.
Nice drive of 77 yards officially in 11 plays. Dave Wilson 5 out of 10 now in the first quarter for 47 yards, and the touchdown that capped that drive, a 4-yard connection with the brilliant rookie Eric Martin of LSU.
Anderson boots it deep right down the middle. Lionel Little Train James takes it about 9 yards deep in the end zone. He'll sit it down right there. Lionel's only 5'6½". The shortest player in the NFL. David Rackley was down there quickly, was pushing around a little bit down there. David Rackley is a former Charger who got cut very quickly, and he is now picked up by the Saints.
Well, they list the drive now officially at 74 yards in 10 plays. Took 5:07 off the clock. Saints have a first quarter lead, 7-0.
First and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Quarterback is Matheson, wants to drop and throw with high backs behind him. Now he wants to throw out of the backfield. He'll be chased out of the backfield by Bruce Clark, and he'll be run out of bounds by Whitney Paul across the way up to about the 24-yard line. Yeah, it looked like he wanted to set up a screen, but Bruce Clark was bearing in on him like a torpedo, and he had to scamper for his life and got it out of bounds across the sideline on the Saints side of the field.
A 281-pound torpedo. Matheson last year was only in on 3 plays for the Chargers. One of those was as a receiver and didn't throw a pass. So if Fouts is out for very long this year, unless Mark Herman shows something here tonight, the quarterbacking duties of the Chargers, they could certainly be suspect.
Tim Spencer on 2nd down 6, running wide to the left. Gets it out to about the 26-yard line, a gain of almost 3. That'll bring up 3rd down medium yardage. Interesting story about Bruce Matheson. He backed up Turner Gill at Nebraska and really didn't see much playing time at Nebraska. Tim Spencer, 13 rushes, 58 yards in the preseason, and again, one of the leading rushers in USFL history, the 3rd leading rusher, and you know you got to be behind Ursula Walker there for one of them for sure. 3rd down and a long 3. It's officially 4. Quick count, quick snap, handoff. Little Train James got speed, gets it outside to the 30 and out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Russell Gary finally bumped him out. He might have had some help there from Terry Hogue, who had come over. Hit him first, and it's going to be a 1st down for the Chargers.
And Terry gets up slowly and is limping as he comes to the sideline. Though he's running, he's had a lot of trouble with a knee. It's had bursitis in it, and he had a CAP scan on it earlier in the week. Showed nothing, really. They think it's just a tendonitis, a bursitis problem, but it's very sore, and he's been getting shots throughout preseason, cortisone shots. That might have been the problem there as he comes limping to the sideline.
You think James would be predominantly a return man on kickoffs, but he's been running the ball out of the backfield. 1st and 10, dropping to throw. Matheson complete across midfield down to the 45-yard line of the Saints, and a nice catch by Trumaine Johnson. Now here's another one of the USFL products who is going to make an impact on this Charger club.
Listed as a rookie out of Grambling, but of course he's played with Chicago and Arizona in the USFL. A fine leaping grab. by Trumaine Johnson. He's been a very frequent target during preseason. He's got a year's worth of rust on him because he sat out the last USFL season in a contract dispute, and they've thrown the ball a lot to him.
He was already the leading receiver in that league in 1983, then sat out 84. So he was the best receiver in the league the rookie year. Pitch out. Jackson running wide right. Dennis Dirt Winston coming up quickly to make the tackle.
What was Dennis saying to you on the bus ride on the way over? He wants to look good tonight.
Yes, indeed. He was saying that the Saints have yet to talk to him about that new contract that he wants. He feels like he might be traded. He'd like to be traded. If he could get his contract worked out, he'd like to stay in New Orleans. But if it's not going to be worked out, he'd like to move on. He thinks the Chargers could use him. He wants to show up good tonight, so the Chargers might want him. Bobby Hebert along the sideline is expected to see considerable action in the second half tonight. Handoff. Spencer had nowhere to go, found some running room, and got it down to the 40-yard line. Pretty good bit of running there. You know, a 3-yard run can be eventful, or it can be just a ho-hum kind of a thing. And some guys can make a 3-yard run out of nothing, and that's exactly what he did there. Got it out to the 40-yard line. Don Coryell's got to be one of the more intensive-looking coaches of all time. Yet when you talk to him, he's very mild-mannered and meek.
Yeah, his bark is certainly worse than his bite, because he is a very mild-mannered and meek person to talk to, but you always see him with that same expression on the sideline, scowling.
3rd down 6. Lionel James on the pitch out. Lionel gets it down to the 35-yard line. This little guy, 5'6½". They list him at 5'7", but he's really not that tall. 170-pounder, was a 5th-round draft choice out of Auburn. He's in his 2nd year, and, well, it's going to wrap up the first quarter with his run down to the 35-yard line. So a timeout here at the end of 1 quarter of play. It's Saints 7 and the Chargers nothing. 7-0 at the end of 1 quarter of play, and during the timeout, the Chargers have decided apparently to go for it. They've got 4th and 1 just inside the, well, right at the 35-yard line.
First foray for the Chargers into Saints territory here as they try to mount an offensive threat as the second quarter is just about to begin.
Let's go down to the field and pick it up. Everybody in tight. 4th down, a yard to go, and a missed snap by the quarterback Matheson, and a fumble, and he falls right back down on it. And the Saints will have it on the 4th down, and no first down. Boy, that's something that'll make you grow old in a hurry if you're a coach. He didn't even get a chance to find out if he can block and make the run.
We've talked about it so often. This is the situation in which you see fumbles in the exchange between center and quarterback so often. Short yardage. Quarterback wants to get out of there very quickly. The center wants to come off the ball as quickly as he can to get into the nose tackle in front of him. And this is so often the time when you see problems with the exchange as you did then.
35-yard line, Saints ball, 1st down, 10 yards to go. High backs, wideouts left and right. Quarterback now is Richard Todd, and he's going to pitch out to Earl Campbell. Gets some running room, makes the cutback, and gets it out to the 42, 43-yard line. So Dave Wilson quarterbacks the first quarter and puts up a 7 spot. Now it's Richard Todd going with the first unit, both offensive line and backfield with him.
The Saints having the better of the first quarter stats, particularly in passing. 49 for Wilson, just 19 for Matheson. And also in time of possession, and that's reflected on the scoreboard by the Saints' 7-0 lead.
I get the feeling with Todd playing in this second quarter, we might see Hebert the entire second half.
You just might see that, because I doubt if they'll bring Dave Wilson back. Usually because of that shoulder, once he's out, they like to leave him out.
Wideouts left and right. 2nd down, 3 yards to go. Handoff. Campbell spins his way out of the pilot, gets close to first down yardage across the 45 and not quite to the 46. And that's just about where the first down marker is. He may be just a little short. Bum Phillips is checking it on from the sideline. I don't think he got it. No, they're going to mark it right at the 45 where it's 3rd down and really less than a yard. Well, they're going to bring it out to be sure. Interesting note here is that Richard Todd even admitted that the starting quarterback against Kansas City in the regular season opener should get probably 3 quarters of action here tonight. Short of a first down, it'll bring up 3rd down in about a foot. Now, if Todd goes 3 quarters tonight, that would really open up some speculation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Short yardage here on 3rd down. This is a situation where you'd usually see Wayne Wilson go up and over, but Wayne has a cast on his right thumb, although he is expected to see some action tonight. He's not in there now. It remains Campbell and Gaijan as the running backs.
3 three tight ends, one in the backfield as a wingback. He goes in motion, Larry Hardy. Quarterback is Todd. Handoff Campbell, straight ahead. First down out to the 48-yard line. So on third down and a foot, they get the first down out to the almost the 49.
79, Ralph Williams may prove to be a life-saving pickup for the Saints. He's in at right guard, a refugee from the USFL. He was in on the linebacker then, Mike Green, I believe it was. Got the initial block on him and cleared enough of a path for Earl Campbell to pick up the Saints' first down and get it up to their 49.
Ralph Williams is out of Southern University in Baton Rouge. First and 10, 49-yard line, slot left formation. Todd, play action pass, his first pass of the night. Steps up in the pocket, pass deflected, incomplete. Almost batted down into the hands of the man who batted it down, Tony Chiquillo, who's from Miami.
Todd had all sorts of time, stood in there a long time. Saints have not been sacked, their quarterback, in this game, and that's been a real problem for the Chargers. They were the 5th worst team in the NFL in sacks last year, and they have put very little pressure on Saints quarterbacks here into the second quarter.
All right, at the 49-yard line, it is second down and 10 yards to go. 13-10 to play in the first half. Saints lead it 7-0 in Jack Murphy Stadium. Larry Matson with Jim Henderson dropping to throw. Todd, lots of time. Looking to the right sideline. Pass complete to Wayne Wilson, and he caught it with the cast on that right hand. And he catches it at the Charger 45-yard line. A short route, so it brings up 3rd and 4.
Talked to Wayne before the game about that, and he said he can do most everything with that hand that he could before he had the cast put on it. And he said in some ways it makes him a better receiver because he has to concentrate so much more on the ball in the air.
Well, he's got to be the best player ever to come out of Shepherd College. 7th-year veteran. He has really done it all for the Saints over the years. Return man, receiver, and running back, and fullback. First and 10. Handoff. There's Wayne Wilson running the ball. 40, 35, down to the 32-yard line. Dodging, darting, moving. He's big enough to run over you. He's quick enough to run past you. And he gets a first down on a fine run down to the Charger 31-yard line.
And credit an excellent block to number 61. That was Joel Hilgenberg pulling from his left guard position, coming over, blocking in front of Wayne Wilson and opening a very big hole.
Saints football, first down 10, ball at the 31-yard line of San Diego. Eugene Goodlow goes out wide to the left. Eric Martin wide to the right. Quarterback is Richard Todd. He started the second period, dropping to throw out of the backfield. Campbell, screen pass hit and knocked down hard just inside the 30-yard line. For a moment there, it appeared he might have some room to run. He had some blockers out front, but good defensive play by the Chargers. Came up to make the stop. Number 54 was one guy, Billy Ray Smith. He was the first defensive player taken in that '83 draft. He played an unbelievable game one night in Birmingham when I was up there to cover the Hall of Fame game when Tulane played Arkansas. He was everywhere.
Highest defender ever selected by San Diego in the draft. He's been moved this year from strong inside linebacker to weak inside linebacker to take advantage of his wide-ranging capabilities.
At the 29-yard line, second down 8, dropping to throw. Todd going to the end zone, trying to go to Martin, incomplete at the goal line. Richard got smacked as he unloaded the pass. Martin going step for step down the sideline, tried to make the grab, but it was just overthrown. Good defensive coverage down there.
Richard was under some pressure by the blitz of the Charger linebackers as they're bringing a few more people now, trying to generate some sort of pass rush.
Looked like Wayne Davis going step for step, and Jeffrey Dale was coming over. I think Dale would love to pick one off against Eric Martin. Of course, Martin probably would enjoy tackling Dale if it happens. Martin would be much happier making the catch, of course. 7-0 Saints, 11:04 to play. First half, third down 8, ball at the 29. Todd to throw. Right side, Jeff Groth, complete at the 22 and down to the 20-yard line. Nice tackle down there by Lucius Smith from Fullerton State. He has been around the league. Kansas City, L.A., Buffalo, and now with the Chargers, a 6-year veteran.
Just a simple square out by Groth, who read the sticks and was able to pick up the first down yardage. Chargers were bringing both of their inside linebackers on the blitz. Todd went down under it, but not before he delivered to Jeff Groth, who probably has the best hands of any wide receiver on the Saints.
And Jeff had 33 receptions last year. He led the receivers as far as receivers go. Hokie Gajan was the leading receiver out of the backfield with 35. First and 10. Ball at the Charger 20. Handoff right side. Inside the 20. Down near the 18 goes Earl Campbell. Maybe even the 17. So Earl gets it inside the 20 on a first down carry. It'll bring up a second down and about 7 to go. Again, we'd like to wish the best for John Paul Young, who had some back surgery. I know he's watching tonight. Dave Waymer in particular said hello, and the rest of the squad certainly thinking of you. And Bum Phillips just got out here today because he stayed over last night to be with John Paul. Second and 7. Gaijan right side. Big hole. 15, 10, down to the 7-yard line.
And off to number 46.
You give him any kind of room at all, and he barrels through like a bulldozer.
Well, if Bobby Hebert is the Cajun Cannon, then Hokie Gaijan is the Cajun Cannonball, because once he gets into the secondary, he's going to loosen a few fillings.
Nice line. Did you work that up last night? Were you thinking about that on the flight all the way out here? I mean, it was about a 3-hour flight.
You saw me on the flight out here. I was sleeping the entire way.
Sure were.
Gaijan now 4 rushes for 36 yards, 9 yards per carry. He was averaging 7.1 coming into tonight.
First and goal at the San Diego 7. Campbell with a pitch out. To the 6, to the 5, and he tried to sneak under. Jeffrey Dale knocked him down. He gets it down to the 5-yard line, I think is where they'll mark it, although he fell to almost the 3. So that'll bring up second and goal at the 5. Interesting, isn't it, that Todd in the second quarter, his first possession, has driven the team down to inside the 5-yard line, and Dave Wilson drove him the other direction in the first quarter for 7 points. How do you pick a #1 quarterback without giving one guy the ball and saying play yourself out of it or play yourself into it? Second and goal, 5-yard line. Play action, looking right, throwing left. Todd incomplete, trying to go to Eugene Goodlow. And he was there. It was a timing play, and the ball got there a little early perhaps, or perhaps Goodlow was a little late in making the cut, but it looked like it was going to be a sure 6.
One thing Richard does not do well is look off the secondary. Usually who he begins looking at initially, he eventually throws the ball to. But that time he was looking right, and then at the last second, it looked like a pre-designed play. He went to the left and found the signal coverage of Lucius Smith against Goodlow, but could not connect.
Saints football, third and goal at the San Diego 5-yard line. 8:13 to play, first half action. In motion, drove to the right side. Todd, the quarterback, drops straight back. Looks across the middle, throws behind the receiver, incomplete. Goodlow was the intended receiver, and Lucius Smith was covering. And I'll tell you what, he had him wrapped up pretty good on that goal line.
Yeah, he really did. It looked like he might have wrapped him up prematurely. We'll look at the replay and see if we can tell. The ball was really thrown behind Goodlow as he ran a quick slant, and Lucius Smith was all over him.
And the drive stalls at the 5-yard line, which means field goal try for Morton Anderson. Let's check out the holder, Guido Merkins, Joel Hilgenberg. Nope, it looks like it's going to, yeah, it will be Hilgenberg on the snap. Waiting for the snap, placement is down, kick is up, and the field goal is good. We'll call it right now a 23-yard field goal for Morton Anderson. A timeout here in San Diego with 8:05 to play in the first half. The score now, the Saints 10 and the Chargers nothing. All right, Morton Anderson prepares to kick off for the Saints, leading 10-0 with 8:05 to play in the first half. A beautiful evening in San Diego. And deep for the Chargers again will be Curtis Adams and Lionel James. Dave LaFari being looked at on the sideline for the Saints. Boy, one thing you don't want to have is another injury to that offensive line.
So now both Todd and Wilson have put points on the board. Dave Wilson played the first quarter, was 5 of 10 for 49 yards, and the touchdown pass to Martin was not intercepted, nor was he sacked. Wilson has not been sacked the entire preseason.
Line drive kick finally picked up at the 5-yard line by Curtis Adams, who runs past Bobby Fowler and gets it out to the 17-yard line. I don't know if that was by design or not, but if it wasn't, Morton missed that ball poorly. He must have hit the top half of the football. You get the feeling that maybe they wanted to see who could cover, Jim, and with a 10-point lead, they might have told Morton to kind of line drive it. Oh, penalty flags are down everywhere back where he kicked it.
You'd have to think the Saints were offsides.
And they may have to kick it again, but the only way you're going to find out who could cover on a kick is to get a run back.
46, kicking team,
Oh,
5-yard penalty.
Hokie Gaijan. So Gordon McCarter, the referee, tells us all about it. Hokie was a little early getting down, and they'll kick it again.
Well, I watch that every time there is a kickoff, and it seems like you could call that on nearly every kickoff.
I think you're right.
I think Hokie will get some ribbon for it, too. He'll probably tell him he has to get a running start. He needs another 5 yards.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I got a comment to make quickly. Derlin Moore last week, I jumped all over him for being offside. You remember, I said, that's unusual for a 13-year veteran. He told me that he heard the snap count in the huddle when they broke the huddle, that it was going to be on 2. So when he heard 2, he jumped. He said the center was late with the snap. I don't know if you can buy that or not, but I said, well, that's a 13-year veteran listening to the huddle to hear the snap count.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
That's right. Morton Anderson kicking off now for the Saints from the 30-yard line. Looks like Lionel James will field it inside the 5 at the 3. He's to the 10, the 15, the 20. Hit, breaks the tackle at the 25. He's out to the 28-yard line. Scotty Pallure and Glenn Redd finally combined to bring him down.
Terry Hoag's upset because he had him earlier inside the 20. Scotty Pallure now, his second big tackle on kickoff coverage. And Scotty trying so hard to earn a spot on this team, and that's the place where he has to try to do it most of the time. It was Rackley who missed Lionel James, trying to tackle him high. A couple of mighty mites colliding, and Lionel James got the better of it, but Scott Pallure brought him down inside the 30, mark it at the 29.
First down 10, Chargers ball, pitch out. Ernest Jackson slips, makes the cut, gets it back to the line of scrimmage and maybe 1 yard to the 30. This broadcast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this one without the consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is prohibited.
Saints with almost an entire second-team defense in there now. A complete second-team defensive line and linebacking core. Russell Gary is the only starter that's still in there.
Second down, 9. Dropping to throw. Matheson complete and breaks a tackle out to the 40. Out to the 43-yard line. Terry Hoag finally brings him down. A good catch and reception by Pete Holohan, who has not played in the preseason because of injuries, was not really expected to see much action until tonight.
Same pattern that Hobie Brenner ran earlier for the Saints as the tight end, just hooking up between the 2 inside linebackers. Terry Hoag made the tackle. Fine catch by Holohan on a ball that was thrown low.
He is really a backup quarterback if they have to go to one tonight, but it's doubtful now that Matheson is playing. Handoff, Ernest Jackson, right side, gets it out to the 49-yard line on 1st and 10 from the 44, so we'll give him 5 yards on that carry out near midfield.
Of course, the Chargers are missing their all-world tight end in Kellen Winslow, who's going to be out at least the first 6 weeks of the season. Coming back from a devastating knee injury, the surgeons who repaired that said the inside of his knee looked like the ends of a mop.
Remember, William Andrews of Atlanta had the same type of knee injury, very serious. Play action pass. Matheson on second down. Fires complete across midfield. Penalty flags dropped at the 45-yard line of the Saints. It's Holohan again on the receiving end. He drilled that pass for a first down, but now flags were dropped, and we'll wait for the call by Gordon McCarter. And it's offensive pass interference, the preliminary indication.
He's made his first down. We'll go 10 and repeat it back.
Here's Gordon McCarter to tell us once again. Cue Gordon. Gordon, go ahead. It's your turn, bud.
Take it, Gordon.
Take it, Gordon.
Pass interference, number 88, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Thank you, and say hello to the family. It's back to the 39-yard line now, and it'll be 6:04 to play in the half, and they're going to face long yardage situation. It'll be second and about 15.
And you got to watch for Frank Warren at the left defensive end position for the Saints. He's had a good preseason, and he loves these situations. Long yardage when he can come with his pass rush.
Jack Del Rio is in there along with Alvin Tolles, 2 rookie linebackers, a 1st and a 3 in the draft choices. And here's a swing pass, a little screen out to Ernest Jackson. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and almost to the original line of scrimmage out to the 43-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and maybe 12 yards to go. So not much on the gain, maybe 3 yards. 5.5 minutes to play in this first half. Saints lead at 10-0. If you go back over the stats, Jim, the Saints have had a good preseason in the first and second quarters. It has been the second half when there's been a lot of substitutions where they have failed, and that's why they're 1-2.
Yeah, that's a good point, and one that fans, when they see you lose, don't often recognize. But that has been the case. We certainly witnessed that last week against Tampa Bay late in the first half when Tampa Bay drove the length of the field against the second-team unit for a touchdown.
3rd down, 12. Matheson throwing, incomplete. Had a man in the between the coverage, but didn't get it to him, and that was Lionel James. Looked like Terry Hogue over there and Brett Maxey on the coverage.
They've worked James at wide receiver a lot, and he is a very effective receiver coming out of the backfield. But when you've only got a 5'6" target to throw at, there's not much room for error. His arms are not very long, so you've got to put it right on the money.
Eric Martin again deep to return for the Saints. And Ralph Boshenko will be the punter. Mojo, they call him. He averaged over 50 yards a punt on 5 punts against the 49ers. He can boot it. Left-footed booter, high kick, good hang time. Fair catch taken and caught at the 18-yard line by Eric Martin. A break in the action here in San Diego, a timeout with 4:49 to play in the first half. And the score, the Saints 10 and the Chargers nothing. All right, let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the New Orleans Saints Football Network.
WWL-TV, Channel 4, New Orleans.
4:49 to play in this first half. 10-0 Saints. Saints ball, 1st and 10, ball at their own 18-yard line. Quarterback is Todd. He's got some second-unit players in there now. And the handoff goes to the right side, out to the 20, 23-yard line. Perhaps as Earl Campbell, a starting running back, gets some running room. About 5 yards on the carry.
Earl running behind an entire new left side of the Saints offensive line. David Carter's in there at left guard. And also Darren Gilbert at tackle, and they were leading him through the hole, but not quite quick enough for Earl, who had to run up the back of Darren Gilbert.
Jeff Groth comes out wide to the right on 2nd down 5. Lindsey Scott is wide to the left. One back offense, Campbell. He gets the call straight ahead, and he gets it out maybe at the 28-yard line. They're right in the dirt of the infield, about where, well, not quite where Templeton would be playing shortstop for the Chargers, or for the Padres. And the Saints will have it 3rd down now and maybe 2 yards. Well, not even that. Let's see. They're going to measure. They're going to bring it out to see if he got the 1st down.
Chargers going with a lot of second-teamers on defense, or Billy Ray Smith would be in there. The great player out of Arkansas, their #1 draft choice a couple of years ago. We'll check the measurement, and the Saints will be just short.
About 6 inches short of a 1st down, 3rd down in inches. I'd like to say hello to the folks down in Homa. I was down there this week to be a guest speaker for the CPAs and lawyers for Morgan City and Homa and the Thibodaux area. Marvin Trout really put on a great seafood dinner for us at the Homa Inn in Homa. And I want to thank Diane Anderson for putting together a little doggy bag for my wife and I when I brought it home with me. We had a really nice time down there.
What are you calling your wife?
No. The bag and the doggy part was all wrapped up with the food. Well, you have to be careful how you word things, don't you? 3rd down in inches. Everybody in tight. High backs. Motion Bobby Fowler. Handoff. Campbell knifes his way through for the 1st down at the 30. He almost broke that open, Jim. He had Hokie Gajan leading the way, and he had a very close chance of making a big gainer. It opened up.
Lyndon King checks back into the ball game, the left outside linebacker for the Chargers. As we mentioned earlier, he leads them in preseason interceptions with 2.
Out of Colorado State, he's in his 8th year and a 3rd-round draft choice back in '77. He is a good one.
San Diego yielded the most passing yards in the NFL last season, and that's certainly an area they want to get better at. Chuck Ian limping to the sideline out of Brigham Young, 3rd-year player. Campbell now 13 rushes for 45 yards.
Saints ball at the 31-yard line with 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. It's 1st and 10. Saints lead it 10-0 in the first half in San Diego. Regular season gets underway September the 8th against Kansas City in the Dome. Then the Saints will head on to Denver and then back home in the Dome against Tampa Bay. High backs again on 1st and 10. 2 wideouts to the left side. Play action pass. Todd drops his 20. Wants to throw. Has time. Stands tall. Throws it deep on the sideline. Incomplete. John Tice, the tight end, was the intended receiver. And Gil Bird, the 3rd-year veteran, strong safety on the coverage.
Might think that Bobby Hebert will get a chance in the second half. Perhaps might go the entire second half.
And they would keep it very basic for him if they did. You would not see a lot of fancy plays because Bobby has not yet had the opportunity to learn the entire playbook.
Of course, Saints fans will tell you the Saints offense is never going to be confused with the run and shoot to begin with, but especially during preseason, they're going to keep things very basic.
They've got a good diamond vision screen here that would be, I guess, center field in the baseball configuration. Almost, well, I guess that's right field, really. Right field. It's at the end zone down to our right. Dropping to throw now on 2nd and 10. Penalty flag drop. Long pass up the middle, complete to Lindsey Scott, near midfield at the Saint 49-yard line. But a flag went down in the offensive backfield, and it might be holding. And it is holding. And that'll nullify a nice route and a nice catch by Lindsey Scott.
Was a nice leaping grab by Lindsey. He had 7 receptions heading into the game, and he led Saint receivers. He's a favorite of Richard Todd's. Whenever the two of them are in the game together, you can look for them to connect.
Number 77 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Now, rookie Darren Gilbert, number 77, is in there at left tackle for Dave Lafari, and he's the guilty party.
That's the 2nd holding call I think he's had in the NFL. Remember, he got his first one, I believe, last week. Stan Brock had a little problem with that when he was a rookie, if you recall, and he's learned how to hold and disguise it. That's the key.
Right.
Learning how to hold and not get caught.
You got to keep those hands inside the shoulder pads. You can't get them outside the shoulders, or else they're going to call it every time.
Ball at the 21, 2nd down, 20 for the Saints. Todd under some pressure, firing. Diving effort. Is it caught by Wayne Wilson? He gets up to run it. They're saying incomplete. They blew it dead anyway when he went down with the catch, and Wayne took off running with it after he got back up, but it's going to be ruled incomplete.
Wayne with that cast on his right hand, and it was incomplete. He tried to steal it. Stan threw a lookout block for Richard Todd. Lee Williams beat him pretty cleanly on the pass rush, and that's one of those lookout. And he got buried under Lee Williams. Stan has not given up a sack in preseason, though. You know, last year he only gave up 1 sack the entire year.
You know, he wanted that in his contract as an incentive this year, but they denied him that. He wanted to say, look, give me a bonus for every game I do not allow a sack in. 3rd down and 20. Dropping to throw, Todd. Looking left. Firing out of the backfield. Wayne Wilson at the 20 and out of bounds up to the 26-yard line. Not nearly enough for a first down, and it'll bring up a kicking down for Brian Hansen. The Saints will punt it away to Lionel James, and it appears the Chargers will send 2 men deep. Anthony Steele, number 44, will be the up man. He's an interesting story because Anthony is a former New Orleans Breaker. And he's the guy that would sing the national anthem at the Dome occasionally and has sung the national anthem here. He was a walk-on at Nebraska, all Big 8, though, as a junior. Played his high school ball in Spain, and that's why he wasn't highly recruited, or people didn't know him. Logical. He's been quite a player, though. Hansen stands at his own 11-yard line. Snap is back. No pressure. Low line drive kick. It's a long one, though. Backpedaling is James with the 22, to the 25, the 30, and gets to about the 35-yard line. Alvin Tolles is there, but I don't think Alvin decked him. I think it was Brett Maxey at the bottom of that pileup, and Bobby Fowler was around him as well, number 43. So there's a break in the action with 1:59 to play. The 2-minute warning has been reached with a score. The Saints 10 and the Chargers nothing. Well, we've reached the 2-minute mark of the first half. 1:59 to play. Saints lead at 10-0. They've been impressive in this first half with 2 good drives. One in the first quarter with Dave Wilson. The second just in this quarter by Richard Todd. It fizzled at the 5-yard line. They had to settle for 3, but it was a good drive.
Saw the diamond vision that you referred to earlier, Larry. That was a 52-yard punt by Brian Hansen that was brought back to the 36-yard line, but not the hang time Brian would have liked.
Bobby Duckworth, a deep threat from Arkansas for the Chargers, is wide to the left. I-backs. Quarterback is Bruce Matheson. And he's going to go to play action pass, looking deep. He wants to go to Duckworth, and he overthrows him incomplete. On the coverage was Johnny Poe, the corner, and the free safety, Frank Watlett. Duckworth was down there, and he was moving down that sideline. He can motor it.
Yeah, he's their deep receiving threat now. He sort of supplanted Wes Chandler in that role. Haven't seen much of Wes tonight. Matheson now 6 of 9 for 36 yards. His completions have been short ones primarily. Duckworth averaged 28.6 yards per reception in '84. He's only got 1 in preseason, but that was for 49 yards, so that's a pretty good average there.
Trumaine Johnson goes wide to the right. Split backfield for the Chargers. Dropping to throw, Matheson. Looking to Trumaine on the right. Out of the backfield, the ball pops loose after the catch by James and goes out of bounds, but it is a completion and a first down near midfield out to about the 48-yard line. Lionel caught the ball, and then as he was being spun around, the ball popped loose and went out of bounds into the Saints bench area.
It's got to be awfully tough on a linebacker trying to cover a guy as tiny as Lionel James. Whitney Paul stripped him of the ball, but unfortunately for the Saints, it went directly into their bench. So the Chargers will maintain possession and pick up a first down as they come close to midfield. We'll mark it at the 47-yard line.
Jesse Bendros goes wide to the left. Again, it's Trumaine Johnson wide to the right. Draw play straight ahead. 50 across midfield. 45 spinning his way. Anthony Steele, the former breaker, gets good yardage up the middle and inside the 45-yard line to the 44. A gain of almost 9 yards.
Haven't seen much of Curtis Adams, number 42, but he's an 8th-round draft choice out of Central Michigan. We should see a bit later on. He leads them in almost every category in preseason.
Second down and a yard to go, and Lionel James tries to get it going wide left, and he does not get it. Well, maybe he fell forward for it after he was hit. Ricky Jackson slow to get up, had to make the tackle around the second base area on the baseball configuration, and in that dirt, that's got to be no fun at all. And it is a first down at the Saint 42-yard line as the Chargers call timeout with 1:14 to play in this first half. A break in the action, a timeout. The score remains Saints 10 and Chargers nothing. All right, on 1st and 10, dropping to throw, Matheson from the Saint 42-yard line drills a shot right down the middle at the 15-yard line. Lionel James catches it and gets a big first down for San Diego at the Saint 15-yard line. A perfect strike by Bruce Matheson.
Matheson throwing the ball with more authority now. He stood in there a long time and then really zipped one downfield to Lionel James, who'd beaten Whitney Paul. That was a matchup they had earlier of James on Paul. Terry Hogue came over to supply a big hit, but not before the Chargers reached their deepest penetration down to the 15-yard line, with the first half drawing to a close here. 1:04 remain.
Well, the Saints have outrushed San Diego 102 to 50. I'm sure the passing stats won't be quite as reflective after a nice catch there by Lionel James, and the Chargers are threatening. If you look back, what was it, the Houston game where they scored late? Tampa Bay, they scored late in the first half.
That's right.
A minute 4 to play in this one in the first half. Saints on top 10-0. And you've got to think that maybe Bobby Hebert will see considerable playing time in the second half. Saints return home tomorrow. Won't get home until about 3:30 in the afternoon at General Aviation.
And we hope everybody's watching in safety along the Gulf Coast and back in New Orleans with Hurricane Elena. It's certainly a topic of conversation among all the New Orleans people here. And we're certainly very glad that it looks like New Orleans and Louisiana will be spared. We hope everyone comes through it safely.
1st and 10 at the Saint 15-yard line. Split backfield. Matheson to throw. Steps up, won't throw. Ricky Jackson brings him down. He had help from Dirk Winston. The linebackers were coming. Jackson got a hand on him and was able to pull him down in the grasp, and it's a sack back to the 24.
That's Ricky Jackson's first sack of preseason, and last year he led the NFC linebackers in sacks. He just jumped right over Lionel James. Not a very big leap because he's only 5'6".
Hurry up offense. Handoff goes to Anthony Steele on 2nd down, and he is wrapped up quickly by Ricky Jackson, and the fans did not like the call. They wanted them to go for the end zone. There's 48 seconds remaining, and now a timeout is called. They've got a very controversial reporter here, a television personality who does their radio play-by-play, Ted Leitner, and I'll bet you he jumps all over that call right there. We got a break in the action, apparently, at the 25-yard line. The Chargers have called, apparently, a timeout to stop the clock at 25. So we'll take the break here. 48 seconds to play in the first half. Saints 10, Chargers nothing. And 20 from the 25. Bruce Matheson drops to throw to the end zone. Penalty flags dropped everywhere. Ball had been deflected, and Frank Watlet came up with the interception. However, the flags may be against the Saints. Watlet is walking off in disgust and just tossed the ball down.
I think it's going to go against Johnny Poe, who seemed to arrive just a second too early on that pass that was thrown in the direction of Jesse Bendros.
Pass interference, defense, automatic first down.
Automatic first down. And they're going to mark it just outside the 2-yard line, and now they're going to mark it down. Yep, that's where it is, just outside the 2.
Well, there was some contact, but it's still a very marginal call as Johnny Poe was trying to really get out of the way of Jesse Bendros. Jesse James Bendros might have stolen one from the Saints secondary.
First and goal, pitch out Jackson, diving toward the end zone to the goal line. Perhaps the 1-yard line is all he'll get. So a gain of 1, and the clock down to 32 seconds to play. An official timeout as they unwrap them. And a hurry-up offense. No timeouts. They're going to line it up. 27 seconds. Second and goal. Quick pass to the end zone. Poorly thrown and incomplete. It was just a little turnaround pattern, and the receiver, Jesse Bendros, had no shot at all at catching the ball, the second-year man out of Alabama. That stops the clock with 22 seconds to go, and it's now 3rd down and goal from the 1.
Well, that didn't look to be a clock play. It looked like they wanted to complete the pass, just not stop the clock, but it was so poorly thrown. It really had that intent.
Now the 30-second clock is going, and Matheson's still calling you the sideline, wanting to know what do you want to call here. He's down to 11 seconds. He's going to make the call in the huddle. He's down to 8. He's down to 7. He's down to 6. He's going to have to get a quick count. Down to 4. 22 seconds remain in the half, but the shot clock is down. Here's the pitch out. Ernest Jackson fighting his way to the end zone. Touchdown. And the cannon goes off here in Jack Murphy Stadium. Well, they get the score with just 18 seconds remaining in this first half. Ernest Jackson from a yard out.
The lead block by Tim Spencer, the fullback, helped him, but Jackson did the rest, just breaking the plane of the goal line with the football as he extends it. Boy, coaches hate to see that done. That's a good way to fumble or get the ball stripped from you right down at the goal line when you've got a chance to score a touchdown, but it worked for him there as he broke the plane of the goal line, and the Chargers have their first points.
And about a 65-yard drive. Here's the extra point try. It's blocked. Good surge in the middle. Waymer is in there. Geathers was in there. I think it might have been Jumpy Geathers or Frank Warren. Warren and Geathers both being congratulated. Some of those big linemen got in there, penetrated, and got their hands up, and it was blocked.
Well, you can't run and jump any longer, and it looked to be Geathers right in the middle. They took that away out of the rule books this year, and the year before that it was a specialty of Tyrone Young. So now you can only move forward out of a 3-point stance, go as far as you can, and then get those hands up in the air. And it was the tallest Saint who was able to knock it away, Jumpy Geathers.
Yeah, Geathers is 6'7", out of Wichita State, a former basketball player there that turned to football, and it turned out good for the Saints, a second-round draft choice. Now the Saints will have a chance to return a kick, although I doubt seriously they'll kick it deep. 18 seconds remaining. They may squib it here and let it roll around a little. Well, we'll see exactly what the strategy is here in the preseason, which changes dramatically September the 8th.
That's a 65-yard drive. Jackson caps it with a 1-yard run. The big play in it, a 23-yard pass interference call against Johnny Poe that took the ball down to the New Orleans 3.
All right, 10-play drive that consumed only 1:41 as they used the clock well during the drive and got the penalty. Now the kickoff is going to be squibbed around and bounces around to the 15, down to the 10, finally picked up. Tyrone Anthony out to the 20, gets it out of bounds, and stops the clock at the 22. Good move for Tyrone. 13 seconds remain. The Saints will have a shot at trying to get something going here with 13 seconds to go. This is really the only way you can practice something like this, but then again, you might just decide to heck with it and let's fall on it and stop the clock let the clock run out. But then if you were going to do that, why run it out of bounds? So I guess they got some kind of plan to go deep. I just talked myself in and out of that, I think, and maybe back into it.
There's a point to be made somewhere.
Somewhere in there was a good point, but I don't know where it was.
We'll have to look at the films, I guess.
Yeah. All right, Richard Todd is the quarterback. He's got a wide out to the left and one to the right, and they'll hand off to Hokie Gaijan on the draw and let the clock run out. Boy, he's knocking tacklers off of him left and right. Don't tell Hokie he's running the clock out. He's running the football.
Yeah, that was a pretty good collision between Hokie Gaijan and Billy Ray Smith.
That's going to wrap up this first half of action. So we've got a timeout here, halftime in San Diego, and the score, the Saints 10 and the Chargers 6. Okay, it's halftime in San Diego, and it's a 10-6 ball game with the halftime coming up. We'll have a lot of things to show you, so stay with us here as it's timeout, halftime, and the score, the Saints 10 and the Chargers 6.
This is a WWL TV sports special, the New Orleans Saints versus the San Diego Chargers. This sports exclusive is being brought to you by Coors Beer, Gulf States Toyota dealers, Pride Airlines, Shoetown, Popeyes, famous fried chicken and biscuits, and Benson Auto World. We'll return with more sports action after this.
Saints leading the Chargers 10-6. Larry Matson along with Jim Henderson. We'll be taking a look at some of the halftime or the first half highlights of that action, the scoring plays at any rate, and let's take a look at them right now. Eric Martin caps off a 74-yard drive in 10 plays, scoring from the 3-yard line on this touchdown pass by Dave Wilson.
Dave Wilson went the first quarter, 5 of 10, 49 yards. That touchdown, no interceptions, no sacks.
Richard Todd had moved the team pretty well in the second quarter, and then after a field goal by Morton Anderson, a 1-yard run by Ernest Jackson made it a 10-6 ball game. The extra point was blocked, and that's where we have it right now at 10-6 at halftime. Pretty impressive first half. The interesting point now will be who plays the second half, and you got to think that it's going to be Bobby Hebert possibly for the whole first part of this half anyway.
I would think it'll probably be Bobby Hebert, who might go the rest of the way here tonight for the Saints.
Well, we'll be back with the second half kickoff in just a moment, so don't go away. We'll be right back with that kickoff in just a moment. Well, the first half stats don't show a great deal, except that the Saints have outrushed the San Diego Chargers 106-60, and they've outpassed them 71-64, isn't by much, 7 yards. 177 total yards to 124. First downs 11-9. The big stat for the Saints, derogatory as it may be, 3 penalties, 39 yards in penalties.
Ralph Mojenko will put the ball in play to begin the second half. He's a kicker out of Michigan State, as is Morton Anderson. In fact, Morton recruited Mojenko to succeed him at Michigan State. He beat out Maury Buford, who was the incumbent punter for the Chargers. He was traded to the Bears, and Mojenko, who can do both, pressed into place kicking as well tonight because of Ralph Benershka's slight muscle pull.
And it'll be Eric Martin at the 5-yard line to return the kick. 10-15, breaks a tackle at the 18, and a penalty flag goes down as he goes down at the 21. Tried to step over Bobby Fowler, and the flag may have been on Bobby Fowler's attempted block.
Looks like Bobby might have reached out and tripped one of the Chargers trying to run down Eric.
And we'll get the call from Gordon McCarter. It is against the Saints, the preliminary indication. And once they get the ball in the right spot, Gordon McCarter will tell us about it up here. We're just underway in the third quarter. The Saints leading the Chargers 10-6. Here's the call.
Illegal block from behind during the return. Number 43 receiving team. First down.
And the ball is placed at the 12-yard line. You know, normally we have a halftime guest during the regular season who will be receiving on our radio presentation the watch, a quartz movement watch, Seiko, from Oakland Hart Jewelers. We want to mention to Tommy Oakland and Donnie Garrison out there on Metairie Road that they have been so gracious to give us watches again this year, complimentary to our halftime guests. First and 10 at the 12-yard line, and Bobby Hebert is indeed the quarterback, and the handoff, nowhere to run to the right side. Oh, you talk about some blue jerseys and an aggressive defense. That's one thing the Chargers want to have this year, and they showed right there that they can have it as Earl Campbell got wrapped up almost right away.
Left side of the Saints offensive line pulling on a counter play similar to the ones the Redskins have gotten so much mileage out of John Riggins with, pulling both the left tackle and the left guard in front of Earl Campbell sweeping right, but there was absolutely nowhere to run on that one.
So it's second down and 10. The ball again at the 12-yard line. Hebert, the quarterback, one back offense. Gaijan dropping a throw. Hebert at the 5. Out of the backfield. Gaijan at the 10. Makes the catch, juggled it, and had to grab it again and gets it to the 15. Had he made the catch cleanly, he might have gotten a lot more out of it. So he gets it to the 15-yard line, and that'll bring up third down and about 7 to go.
You can expect the Saints to keep things very basic for Bobby Hebert because of his short acquaintance with the ball club. and also the fact that they've got reserve guards in there. They certainly don't want to get him hurt in trying to throw too many things at him out there, and you can expect the ball to be kept on the ground primarily.
3rd down 7 at their own 15-yard line. Early third quarter action. Wayne Wilson in motion. Long count. Hebert drops to throw. Has time. Now the ball is slapped out of his hand. Flag goes down. Hebert goes down the recovery. Loses the ball. Chargers recover. And a flag down at the 9-yard line. Hebert had it in his grasp as he dove onto the ball, and then it squirted free. Holding. Saints. A preliminary call, and it could be a costly call.
Well, it was a real heads-up play as the Chargers were blitzing, and it was their linebacker, number 50, Carlos Bradley, the 5-year man out of Wake Forest, who got as far as he could and then had the presence of mind to just reach out and slap the ball out of Bobby Hebert's grasp. The Chargers have it. The penalty call will go against the Saints.
Penalty decline, 4th down.
We believe that call went against Steve Court. At any rate, the Chargers, well, let's see who did recover it now. Yeah, the Chargers recovered it, and they recovered it inside the Saints' 5-yard line. Well, no, now they're saying that it's the Saints' ball, and the Saints will punt it away. So it is recovered by the Saints, but Brian Hansen will be backed up all the way at his own end line to kick it away.
Boy, is that a break in a sense. Back at the 5-yard line. The snap goes all the way to Brian deep in the end zone. He didn't hit it very good. It's going to bounce at the 36. Roll out of bounds on the Saints sideline at the 38-yard line. And we've got a break in the action here in the third quarter with 12:48 to play. And the score remains the same. The Saints 10 and the Chargers 6. 12:48 to play in the third quarter. Saints leading the Chargers 10-6, but the Chargers with excellent field position on the Saints side of the 50 at the 38-yard line. Good shot of the diamond vision for the TV viewers here. Boy, is that a nice scoreboard. They've got a lot of action that they show up there, and of course, they keep you up to date with all the stats. Mark Herman is now the quarterback for the Chargers, dropping to throw, and he's dropped sack time all the way back to the 50-yard line. Bruce Clark and Jim Wilkes, but give credit to Bruce Clark, who gets the sack.
This is the first play of preseason. In fact, the first by Mark Herman in a Charger uniform. Looking left, looking right, finding Bruce Clark, going down for the Saints' second sack. Jim Wilkes mops up.
Yeah, Herman has not seen action in the preseason, and he has been a well-traveled young man. He was drafted by the Denver Broncos, but was traded to the Indianapolis Colts, at the time Baltimore, because of the John Elway deal. Herman to throw, fires over the middle, complete inside the 50, 45-40 on the sideline, 35 down to the 30-yard line on a good run back after the catch. In fact, the catch was made maybe only for about a 5-yard pickup, but Curtis Adams, the rookie fullback out of Central Michigan, turned it into a big gainer.
We mentioned Curtis Adams in the first half. He leads them in attempts, in yardage, in longest gain from scrimmage running the ball. He led them in receptions, number, and yardage receiving the football. He also leads them in kickoff return yardage, number, and average. He's been a very pleasant surprise, an 8th-round draft choice out of Central Michigan, who has done most everything right.
Split backfield, 3rd and 2. Herman to throw, firing, incomplete off the hands of the intended receiver. Tied in Pete Holohan, the Notre Dame 5-year veteran. Which brings up 4th and, about a long 2 or a short 3. And the ball just right at the 30-yard line of the Saints, and apparently a new quarterback is coming in. They may go for the field goal here with Matheson to hold, but keep in mind, Matheson started the game as quarterback, and he is a backup. Number 2 to Dan Fouts. I doubt if they got any fakes this early in the season or this late in the preseason.
Be a 47-yard attempt.
Poroshenko's kick is away. It's got the distance, and it is no good. It was wide to the left. The kick never hooked in with a left-footed booter. It stayed out. He may have pushed it a bit. And with the field goal missing, the Saints will take over the football. We've got a timeout with 11:30 to play in this third quarter. Score remains the same. Saints 10, Chargers 6. All right, there's 11:30 to play in this third quarter, and for the TV audience, you're getting a good shot at the Diamond Vision screen, which I've been told now by Steve Wegman, who's directing this thing, that we're going to have diamond vision in the dome this NFL season in both end zones, offset at the Superdome. So with the super screens and now diamond vision, well, the Saints will be well covered by video. 1st and 10, Saints ball, 30-yard line. Hebert, the quarterback, pitch out, lost by Campbell. Big scramble at the 25-yard line. Chargers have it. Oh, baby, what a turnaround this has been in this third quarter. First, Hebert had a ball slapped out of his hand at the 5-yard line and luckily recovered. Saints had to punt it away, and now a pitch out goes awry, and it wasn't that bad of a pitch out. I think Campbell may have taken his eye off the ball.
Yeah, I think he did too. The ball was spinning a little bit end over end, and Earl just took his eye off it a bit. It was right at his belt line to look into the line of scrimmage and see if there was a hole, and in doing so dropped the ball. So Bobby Hebert has been in there for 2 series in the second half, and there have been fumbles each time. This time they don't come away with it. The Chargers do.
At the 26-yard line, 1st down 10, Chargers ball, eye backs, pitch out, Herman going to Adams, who gets tripped up by his own man and spins his way down to about the 25-yard line, a gain of only about a yard. He was trying to run left and looked like he may have gotten tripped up by Tim Spencer, who was trying to make a block for him. So the ball at the 25-yard line brings up 2nd down and 9 yards to go for San Diego with just inside 11 minutes to play in this third quarter. Saints leading it 10-6. This game going out on the radio network and across most of the country on WWL radio out of New Orleans. Handoff out of the eye. Curtis Adams, big hole, left side, 20, down to the 15, runs it down to the 13-yard line. Frank Watland and Jim Kovacs got a hand on him but couldn't bring him down. That guy's a tough runner.
What a find he has been. An 8th-round draft choice out of Central Michigan. Saints were blitzing their inside linebacker on that side, Dennis Winston. That's where the hole was designed to be. When it wasn't there, Adams just broke it to the outside for a substantial gain. Down to the 12-yard line now. Their possessions the last 2 times, speaking of the Chargers, have been at the Saints 37 and now at the 26.
And they're right at the third base area of the baseball diamond. It is now 1st and 10 out of the dirt. Handoff Adams in the backfield back at the 15-yard line. Ricky Jackson showed why he is an all-pro. He just leveled Adams in the backfield for a loss back at the 14-yard line.
Your left guard Ken Dallafor was supposed to be blocking on Ricky and never got a piece of him. And Ricky, who is warming to the task now as the regular season approaches, is getting more and more into each game. He's had a sack tonight and a big hit there.
2nd-round draft choice back in '81, a 5-year veteran out of Pitt now. 2nd down, 12 to go from the 14-yard line. Adams right side this time, nowhere to go. You're running at the strength of the Saints defense when you go to that side, and they were there to stop that play cold, and the fans here getting a little restless in Jack Murphy Stadium.
Yes, and in fairness to the Chargers, they're missing their starting left tackle, Jim Lachey, a #1 draft choice out of Ohio State. He's out with a concussion. Their starting left guard is playing at right tackle, and their starting right tackle has moved over to left tackle. So they've got a lot of changes along their offensive line as well, and they're having a hard time providing continuity for the running game.
3rd down, 13 from the Saint 15-yard line. Dropping straight back with a split backfield, Herman. Throwing to the middle, complete, touchdown, Anthony Steele. A former Breaker scores against the Saints and gives the Chargers the lead at 12-10. A 15-yard strike for Herman to Anthony Steele.
Well, Herman certainly threw this ball on the money. He was looking for steals all the way, running out of the backfield. He had beaten, it looked to be, Ricky Jackson cleanly. There was no one near him as he took in the ball around the 5-yard line. He was punished in the end zone by Frank Watlet, but not before he was about 3 yards deep into it, as the Chargers now have taken the lead.
And the Chargers have scored the last 12 points of this ball game. Kick is up. This one is blocked. And they're going to scramble after it, but no need. On an extra point, it's dead as soon as it's blocked. And it's knocked down. Can't recover it and run it for a touchdown or anything like that.
Jumpy
Well,
again.
we got a break in the action, but we got plenty of action coming your way, so don't go away. We've got a timeout, 8:47 to play in this third quarter. And with the score now, the Chargers have taken the lead, 12-10. All right, I was about to tell you that the bad news during the halftime break was the fact that the pizza did not make it to our booth during halftime, one of the traditional things in San Francisco and apparently here in San Diego as well, but they've just reached our booth and we are very happy now. The kick is taken by Tyrone Anthony. TA at the goal line, gets it out to the 20-yard line on a pretty strong run back, and the flag goes down just as he's tackled at the 20-yard line. We'll wait for that call to see what Gordon Carter has to say on that one. It's kind of unusual. There wasn't anyone around to block, but there was an illegal block somewhere, and that's the call.
It was thrown near the feet of Bobby Fowler, but we'll await McCarter's call. Some Saints fans here tonight.
They certainly are.
Let's get started.
A 26-yard drive in just 3 plays.
Receiving team during the return. First down.
After a fumble recovery, has given the Chargers a 2-point lead after a blocked extra point. It is 12-10. Saints special teams haven't played too badly tonight with 2 blocked extra points and good coverage on the kick teams. But the ball inside the 10-yard line, the Saints will have it there. 1st and 10. Bobby Hebert's got 90 yards of turf and some infield of a baseball configuration to work against, as well as an NFL defense that he hasn't seen much of. Going wide to the left, Eric Martin. In the slot to the left, Eugene Goodlow. Tight end is Hobie Brenner. He's on the right side. Eye backs, Guijon and Campbell. In motion goes Goodlow. Play action pass to the end zone. Hebert wants to throw from the goal line. Leaping catch, nice grab by Goodlow out near the 19-yard line. Very close to a first down.
Goodlow is such a smooth receiver, catches the ball away from his body so well. That was a pass that many receivers might have jumped for, although there was no need. When you do that, you run the risk of really getting clobbered by a defensive back, and you can't do anything to move the ball upfield until you come back down to the ground. Eugene never tried that. He stayed right on his feet, made the reception up over his head, and tried to turn it upfield. I'm glad they all aren't California girls.
Yeah, there's some pretty girls here in the stands that say who dat say they're going to beat them Saints. They got the T-shirts on along with the pennants and so on. 1st and 10. It was a first down at the 20. Pitch out left side. Campbell goes out of bounds on the far sideline. In fact, he didn't reach the sideline. They say keep the clock going. And he only got about 3 yards to the 23-yard line. Good pursuit there and a good tackle by Billy Ray Smith, number 54. First-round draft choice out of 1983. And he is quite a player.
We mentioned they've moved him to weak inside linebacker to take advantage of his range, and he's got a lot of that as he exhibited there, chasing down Earl Campbell along the sidelines. 6'3", 235 out of Arkansas. His father, a former great.
And Jeffrey Dale helped out the rookie out of LSU, number 37. 2nd down, 7 to go. The ball at the 23-yard line, and Hebert like to throw again. Rolling to his right now. He's going to unload it. It's caught, and now it's going to be incomplete. I thought it was caught for a moment and stripped loose, but the ball just came loose out of the hands of Eric Martin. Very close to being intercepted.
And there's a great shot. That could be a very costly injury. Billy Ray Smith lying at around the 36-yard line, holding his right arm. He had reached in trying to get the interception as he was dropping in pass coverage, and his right arm collided with Eric Martin.
Yeah, he made a diving effort, and that's when he collided with Eric Martin. The two collided, and then he went down on the arm. We've got a timeout because of the injury, a break in the action here in San Diego with 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. A timeout here with the score now, the San Diego Chargers 12 and the New Orleans Saints 10. All right, the Saints line it up with a 3rd down 7 at the 23-yard line. And by the way, Billy Ray Smith got up and was all right, but he's heading to the locker room. So it didn't appear to be too serious, but he is in the locker room. Shotgun now for Hebert, throwing to the sideline, and a nice comeback catch for Eugene Goodlow, and out of bounds on the far sideline with a first down up near the 45-yard line. Very fine play. The ball was a little underthrown, and Eugene just went back and made the catch.
Yeah, and as a cornerback, you've got to hate this. Lucius Smith running step for step with Eugene Goodlow. Thought he had him well covered, but never looked back for the ball as it was underthrown, as you say, Larry. Eugene Goodlow just took it right off Lucius Smith's back for the reception, and kept both feet in bounds with a little tap dance along the sideline in front of the Saints bench, and that gets the Saints out of a hole.
Yeah, what if Lucius Smith looks back? He picks it off and goes for 6 down the sideline. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Hebert, play action pass, wants to throw to the right, dances around, ball knocked out of his hand again and recovered by the Chargers at the 32-yard line. That's the second time tonight that Bobby has had the ball slapped out of his hands. And while the teams change fields, maybe we should pause for station identification, and we'll take another look at it here for a moment, and we won't pause for the ID. As Bobby Hebert was back, and the ball just simply slapped right out of his hands by Earl Wilson, the rookie free agent out of Kentucky who had played 3 years in Canada. Now let's pause 5 seconds for station identification on this, the New Orleans Saints Football Network.
WWL-TV, Channel 4, New Orleans.
First and 10. Herman hands off, trying to go up the middle inside the 30. Curtis Adams gets it inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. So this fumble recovery at the 31-yard line
Offside defense.
has been a costly one in the sense that the Chargers have the ball in excellent field position a second time. Remember, the touchdown they just scored moments ago came on a 3-play 26-yard drive, and this drive would only have to be 31.
Yeah, their possessions of the third quarter have been now at the 37 of the Saints, the 26 of the
First
Saints,
down,
and now
5.
the 31. And the giveaway takeaway ratio coming into effect here is that's the third fumble in 3 series that Bobby Hebert has been in there for the Saints in the second half.
And the offsides has given the Chargers a 1st and 5 at the 27-yard line. Handoff, Curtis Adams, right side, down to the 20. And that's enough for a first down as San Diego is moving the ball, and they don't have much room to have to move it in order to score. They lead it by 2, 12-10 in the third quarter with 6:13 to play.
8 has been the lucky number for the Chargers lately in the draft. They drafted Ernest Jackson in the 8th round. He went to the Pro Bowl last year, picking up 1,179 yards. Curtis Adams was an 8th round draft choice out of Central Michigan, and he has been their most effective player on offense in preseason.
1st and 10 at the Saint 20-yard line. Chargers ball. 2 wide out to the left. Pitch out to the right. Adams inside the 20, down near the 15-yard line. Good tough collision down there. Glenn Red was around the ball. So was Whitney Paul and Ricky Jackson. Tony Elliott gave a little chase in there as well. We haven't heard much from Tony tonight at nose tackle, or Derlin Moore.
No, we haven't. Saw the shot of Ricky Jackson's towel reading JP. That's for John Paul Young, as we mentioned earlier in the telecast and broadcast. The Saints linebacker coach who underwent surgery last night for a disc.
At the 15-yard line, 2nd down, 5 yards to go for the first down. Chargers ball, handoff. Anthony Steele's good tough run up the middle, tried to spin his way around. Frank Watlett had finally gotten his hands around his legs and dropped him at about the 11-yard line. Don't think Frank was the first guy to hit him. Somebody else got to him first, but he finished him off. Yeah, it was Jim Wilkes who wrapped him up first, and then Watlett came off to finish him. At the 11-yard line, it is 3rd down and only a yard to go. The Charger offensive line is coming off the ball very well right now. They're jumping off that ball quickly.
And the Saints got away with a face mask.
Yep, 3rd down, a yard to go. Pitch out, running left, hit hard, down to the 10 is Adams. May have gotten the first down. Oh, is that going to be close? All a matter of placement here, and it's a big, big placement. Either it's 1st and goal or it's 4th and inches. They're saying 4th down and maybe a foot to go. So officially it's 4th and a yard just outside the 10-yard line. Don Coryell, not real happy, says let's go for it. Leading by 2.
If I were the Chargers, I'd give it to Curtis Adams.
Yeah, you got to think he's the guy. Everybody bunched in tight. 4th down, a foot to go. Defensively, Jackson jumped early. Handoff went straight up the middle to Anthony Steele, who's still on his feet. The Saints have him wrapped up but won't drop him as the whistles blow it dead. I believe Ricky Jackson jumped early, Jim, and it'll be offside Saints.
He's arguing that he was drawn offside, but I don't think Gordon McCarter's buying the argument.
3:56 to play in this third quarter, and a big call coming up here. Although the game doesn't mean anything, each team coming in 1-2 would certainly like to cap off the preseason with a victory and go out even Steven. But you go out even Steven regardless. Next week it's 0-0 as you go to the first regular season game.
And the officials are saying, where are you going for dinner after the game?
Yeah, these guys are debating who's going to pick up the check later, I think. Gordon McCarter says offside Saints. Bum Phillips takes his hat off, not to welcome the call, but to question the call, I would think. He's not happy with it at all.
Bum's so mad he could spit, and he does. But then again, he spits when he isn't mad, so it's hard to tell if that's a reaction to the call.
Number 57 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
First and goal, Chargers at the Saints 5-yard line. 3:56 to play in the third quarter. Saints have now been penalized 4 times for 45 yards. The big one was a pass interference call. Chargers twice for 15. Split backfield for Mark Herman. May want to throw here on first and goal. Nope, he'll hand off. Adams leaps high into the air over the middle. Gets it down maybe to the 3-yard line. Oh, he really went airborne. Gets it down to the 3. It'll be second and goal.
Frank Watlett was happy with his performance and looked like Glenn Red in on the bottom, and Frank Watlett and another one of the Saints looked like Bruce Clark in to finish off Curtis Adams, but it's still second and goal for the Chargers.
At the Saint 3-yard line. Set backfield now, side by side, Anthony Steele. And looks like Curtis Adams. Adams gets the call, right side, knifing his way down near the goal line, down about the 1-yard line. It'll bring up third and goal.
He doesn't need much of a crack, does he?
He goes up and over, or he knifes through. Finds a little bit of a hole, a little bit of daylight, and he finds a way to get through it. How do these guys come along like this? A Central Michigan rookie, an 8th-round draft choice. You wonder how many teams could have passed him up. All right, it's third and goal from the 1-yard line. High backfield now. Quarterback is Herman. Hand off, up and over. Anthony Steele's touchdown. He was pushed back, but he cleared the plane, and the Chargers now lead it by 8, 18-10.
For Anthony Steele's his second touchdown in the last 2 possessions. Johnny Poe, a big hit. He snapped his head back, but again, breaking the plane of the goal line is Anthony Steele's for the touchdown. The Chargers have brought the excitement back into the point after, and we'll see if they're able to convert their first in their last 3 attempts.
Well, the Saints led this game 10-0 with the first units going against the first units. That's something to keep in mind, folks, although they've been sprinkled with first unit players throughout this second half. This extra point gets airborne, and it's wide. No good to the right. Some boo birds are out. Some people laughing as well, but it's an 18-10 ball game now as the Chargers lead it by 8 points. They've missed 3 extra points. Could have been 21-10. The 3 extra points, 2 of them blocked, 1 of them right there wide to the right. So the Saints will have a chance now to work on their special team return team, as the Chargers will be kicking off, and once again it'll be Ralph Moshenko kicking off. Rolf Benerska has not seen action tonight, and he will be normally their field goal placement and of course long-range kicker off for the kickoffs. How about Rolf, R-O-L-F, and then Ralph, R-A-L-F. Rolf and Ralph, the kickers for the Chargers in 85.
Chargers taking advantage of a Campbell fumble at the St. 26, took that in for a touchdown. Then the fumble of Bobby Hebert that Earl Wilson recovered at the 31 and took that in for a touchdown as well. The most impressive and meaningful stat in professional football, the giveaway takeaway ratio, and it's belonged to the Chargers tonight. The Saints have not been able to take the ball away from them defensively.
We had a good time at the Touchdown Club luncheon on Thursday at the Marriott. Had a really good time there. A really big crowd on hand, and a number of touchdown clubbers made the trip out here because of Pride Airlines special deal of a $49 one-way ticket, $98 round trip, and they've had a good time out here. Here's a short kickoff. Bobby Fowler will take it on the squibber. He took it at the 30, brought it out to about the 37-yard line. Saints ball, 1st and 10 now.
Mojenko's going to go right from the game into analysis. He's missed 3-point afters. He just hit that kickoff about 40 yards.
Yeah, he hit the top half of the ball that time without question.
For New Orleans in the second half, their possessions have been 3 plays and a punt, 1 play and a fumble, 4 plays and a fumble. It's been a rough second half for Bobby Hebert.
1st and 10 at their own 36, the best field position he's experienced, however, on a 1st and 10 situation. Play action. Wants to quickly toss it. Gets rid of it. Intercepted at the 45-yard line. Picked off there by Lucius Smith. Really no receiver was that close to make the catch. It was a leaping effort for the interception. Bobby's having a real rough going here.
Yeah, he really is. Play action, looking right, couldn't find him there, then should never have thrown this ball, or at least as poorly as he did. He threw it some 5 yards over the head of Jeff Groth, who had no chance to make the reception, into the waiting and grateful hands of Lucius Smith. So for Bobby now, the 4th Saint turnover, make that the 3rd Saint turnover in the second half in which he's played.
1st and 10, Chargers ball at the 45-yard line. 2:08 to play in the 3rd quarter. Chargers lead it by 8, 18-10. Pitch out, running left. And Curtis Adams gets it to the sideline and made the turn. He got a couple of good blocks and made a couple of good moves. He gets it out to the 47-yard line. I'll be spending a few days out here enjoying the Southern California sunshine and hospitality. My wife and children will be flying out on Pride Airlines. I mentioned that only because they are a sponsor, and they really put together a really introductory deal we couldn't turn down. $98 round trip. That's not a bad deal, is it? Had to stand in line to get the tickets, of course. There was a big line for that.
They obviously didn't check your credit rating.
No, they didn't. And they took a check. Boy, that thing will bounce.
You can dribble that thing home to New Orleans.
2nd down 9, rolling to the right. Herman on the run. Fires a wide-open receiver, but he threw it behind him. Incomplete. The man that was wide open is Bobby Duckworth, their deep threat. And you talk about open. There had to be a blown coverage on that one.
I guess so. There was nobody within 10 yards of Bobby Duckworth, and oh, would Herman like to have that pass back.
Yeah, he'd like to have the opportunity to check the defense out, because he could have almost run it over there to him. He was that open. Tony Elliott checks out of the lineup now for the Saints. The Saints will go to nickel D. They're going to have Frank Warren, Bruce Clark, Jim Wilkes, and Jumpy Geathers in there on 3rd down and 9. The ball at the 47. Herman drops straight back in a hurry, firing to the right sideline. A catch by Bendros and knocked down hard, and he's got enough apparently for the 1st down at the 43-yard line. Billy Ray Smith went to the locker room for x-rays. The word there, negative. Just a bruise, no break.
Russell Gary had fallen down, the Saints nickelback, and the reception was made by Bendros.
So with 1:25 to play in this 3rd period, 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. San Diego moving the ball once again. Bobby Duckworth comes out wide to the left side, split backfield. Dropping straight back Herman. Blitz is on, gets it away. Anthony Steele, 45, 40. He's got room to the 35. Whitney Paul finally wrapped him up. He had some help from Glenn Red. The 2 linebackers combined as flags are dropped down hard at the 40, as was the running back Anthony Steele at the 35. Bet he got it to the Saint 33. That should be enough for a 1st down, barring the penalty.
But the Saints say this will go against the Chargers for illegal use of hands. At least that was the preliminary signal among the Saints defenders. We'll see what the call is.
Might have been an ineligible man downfield because of the long delay in getting that pass away to Anthony Steele.
Ineligible downfield, number 62 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Gordon McCarter giving the word to us up here in the booth and to the listening audience around the Saints radio and TV network. And the ball will be brought back all the way to the Charger 47-yard line.
And the Saints need their defense to get something done here. They need to spark the offense, which has been very lethargic in the second half under Bobby Hebert and riddled with turnovers, by providing a turnover themselves, and they've got the Chargers in 1st and long.
First down, 20 to go from the 47. Herman to throw, going deep, could be picked off, goes incomplete. Russell Gary looked like he was going to give it a shot. Frank Watlet was there and gave a shot, but he gave the shot to Bobby Duckworth, the deep threat, who's slow to get up.
Yeah, he's not going to get up for a while. Frank Watlet delights as a free safety in leveling wide receivers. Duckworth on a deep post between Gary and Watlet. Gary hit him initially, and Watlet put the coup de grace and the knockout blow on him, hitting him high.
And the fans here reacting to that thought that maybe, was that a hit?
You know, he learned a lot of that from Tommy Myers. He used to just delight as the Saints free safety in KOing receivers. I remember one game against Buffalo late in Tommy's career. He was called for unnecessary roughness against the tight end from Buffalo, who I think it was Reuben Gant, who was about 6'5" and 250. And Tommy, who was probably 50 pounds less, was called for unnecessary roughness in hitting him in a similar situation. And Frank Watlet has picked up a lot of those same traits. Happily, Bobby Duckworth is all right now, though shaken up, and is coming to the sideline under his own power.
Adding insult to injury, where he got smacked was right on the infield area of where the shortstop would play on the dirt. And that's hard. It's a very hard infield here. We walked down on it during the pregame warm-ups tonight. Second down, 20 yards to go. Chargers ball at their own 47. Third quarter. Chargers lead it 18-10. Herman, quick out on the side, out of the backfield. Curtis Adams catches the ball, gets it across midfield, down to the Saint 46-yard line. Still short of the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up third down and about 12 to go. And this quarter is closing down with 33 seconds to play in the third quarter. Here on the West Coast, of course, it's only about 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's getting toward the bewitching hour in the Central Time Zone, 20 after 11 in New Orleans. Dropping to throw now, Herman on 3rd and 12. Firing, caught, dropped, incomplete. Never was really held on to. Looked like it might have been Eric Sievers. I believe that's who it was, Jim.
That's
First
right.
time we've seen him tonight. He's going to be the starting tight end because of the injury to Kellen Winslow.
Saints defensive backs feeling a little nasty after they've had to absorb some very poor field position here in the second half, and some big hits applied, this time by Johnny Poe, earlier by Frank Watlet. Breaking up the pass here is Poe, intended for Sievers, the tight end out of Maryland.
Johnny Poe was a camp holdout this year, and that's unlike Johnny, but he finally came to camp. Terms had been worked out, and we're glad to have him back. A 5-year veteran out of Missouri, as Jim mentioned, 6th-round draft choice in '81. Oshenko back in deep punt formation, gets the kick away, end over end. Eric Martin fields it on the run at the 8, tries to make a cutback at the 10. He's buried under good coverage by the Chargers special teams, knocked him down at the 10-yard line. And the Saints will have it 1st and 10 at their own 10.
Billy Ray Smith returning to the sideline and showing Ralph Benershka the problem. It appears to be in his right forearm, but as Larry mentioned, the x-rays proved negative. That's certainly good news.
Bobby Hebert continuing at quarterback. We expect him to go the entire second half here as we're winding down this third quarter of play with just 6 seconds to play, and he'll have one more quarter to go to wrap up preseason '85. I'm really looking forward to the regular season, but there's still some question marks and some clouds looming over the Saints. We'll talk about that in a moment. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. Pitch out, goes to Tyrone Anthony, running wide left, makes the turn, gets to the sideline, knocked out of bounds. Looks like he got the first down across the 20-yard line. One thing of major concern as this quarter goes to a close is the offensive line injuries and, of course, the situation with Dennis Winston and Jim Kovacs. We'll talk about that when we return. Timeout, into 3 quarters. The score, Chargers 18, Saints 10. Saints football 1st and 10 at their own 20, and it's moon over San Diego on the West Coast here. A beautiful night in Southern California. This game being telecast and broadcast by radio via satellite tonight. A beautiful night for it. We certainly hope that the Mississippi Gulf Coast, the Florida coast, and so on won't be experiencing too much difficulty with the approaching Hurricane Elena. I understand that Louisiana was taken out of the hurricane watch this afternoon. Well, some motion on the line. The defensive linebacker finally reached across and touched the Saint because he felt that the Saints had moved early, and we'll see if it's a legal procedure or not.
Last year, the third quarter was by far the Saints' worst.
82 on the offense.
And it was indeed John Tice that tied in. It was a good move for the Saints.
And this was certainly the worst quarter by far of the evening for the Saints tonight, as they were outscored 12-0.
Good move for the Chargers against the Saints, I should say, not a good move for the Saints. The movement puts the ball back at the 15-yard line. Or back to the 15. It'll be now 1st and 15, and the ball is at the 15. Fourth period of play. Bobby Hebert, the quarterback. Chargers showing blitz against a young quarterback. Will they come with it? That's the question as he checks off. Drops the throw. Blitz is on perhaps. A big rush. Here's the toss out to Tyrone Anthony. A little screen. He's going to get it out to the 19-yard line. Somebody came home free. It looked like Tony Chickolo, the nose tackle. I don't think anybody blocked him. Came straight up the middle. And Bobby had to unload it very quickly. I'd like to thank our stat man here tonight, Ed Ybarra, and our booth AD, Paul Vogel, for keeping us up to date on what's going on the field and off here in the booth in San Diego. A lot of people know you back home, don't they, Paul? No, they don't. No. Well, he's a Florida graduate anyway. 2nd down and 10. Handoff. Tyrone Anthony. Oh, TA is decked at the line of scrimmage. Well, you talk about a hit. That was a good defensive play. Nelson was in there, number 55, their linebacker, and he had some help. But give credit to Derry Nelson, a third-year man out of Nebraska, a free agent, signed in '82. He really put the shoulder into Tyrone Anthony. 3rd down now and a long 10. It's more than 10 yards to go at the 20-yard line. Goodlow wide left. Lindsey Scott wide right. In the slot to the right is Groth. Shotgun formation, Hebert, with Tyrone Anthony just a step up to the left from him. Quarterback started moving. Hebert wanted the snap, and he didn't get the snap, and that's going to cause some penalties there on a false start. It's tough to get a false start now out of the shotgun. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Well, this is on-the-job training for Bobby Hebert, and it's been a rough indoctrination to the NFL tonight.
That'll back him up 5 more yards, and it'll be 3rd down and a long 15 for Bobby Hebert and the Saints.
Jack Del Rio, young man with Southern California roots. Saints 3rd-round draft choice out of USC.
3rd and 15. Saints at their own 15-yard line.
Saints have been very successful in 3rd-down conversions tonight, 8 out of 12.
I think most of that happened in the first half, though, when they had short 3rd-down conversions. 3rd and 15 on this one now. Bobby Hebert again in the shotgun, takes the snap, drops back, has to step up in the pocket. He'll be sacked inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. Give credit again to the nose tackle. He had some help from Fred Robinson, the right defensive end, who was picked up on waivers out of Tampa Bay last year. But the nose tackle, Tony Chickolo, just really came straight on through for the sack. And the ball at the 5 means that Brian Hansen will be backed up to the end of the end zone for the snap and for the punt. And the Chargers will once again employ excellent field position. Anthony Steele stands at his own 43-yard line. Or at the Saints 43, and he steps up even to the 40. All right, let's look for the snap now as Brian Hansen will take it at the end line of the end zone. Good snap back, kick is away. Sailing all the way back to the 48-yard line, and that's taken there by Trumaine Johnson, who breaks it open on the right. Decked from behind, but he got it down to the 25-yard line. Looked like Guido Merkins may have nailed him, and he was running good and free for a long time. He gets a good run back all the way down to the 25-yard line, maybe the 24. Timeout in San Diego. In the 4th quarter, the score, Chargers 18, Saints 10.
Uh-oh.
To recap what has happened, the referee did not take the commercial break when we went for the break, both on radio and TV, and the quarterback, Mark Herman, simply dropped back, got a little swing pass out to Curtis Adams, who brings it all the way down to the Saints 16-yard line, will give him a gain of 6 yards on it, and it's now 2nd and 4.
And that was a badly blown call by Gordon McCarter, the referee, who was looking right at Mark Herman while he was in the grasp of Frank Warren and didn't blow the play dead.
Anthony Steele on a straight-ahead handoff. No running room at all. Jim Kovach closed the door on that one. Down to maybe the 15-yard line. We'll give him 1 yard, so it's 3rd down now and 4. Doc Kovach is playing in the last preseason game of '85, and that's going to be an interesting situation because he says that he will not play the regular season unless he gets that contract worked out. He's got to retire in order to get the severance pay as of April if he retires before the season gets underway. Third down 3. 3rd down 3. Herman dropping to throw from the 15-yard line. Ball goes incomplete. He was decked on a blitz by Ricky Jackson and a good rush from Frank Warren. And it is now 4th down.
And Ricky's really happy because he finally got a clean shot at a quarterback rolling out. Last week, you'll recall Steve DeBerg really hurt Jackson and his aggressive tendencies by bootlegging and catching Ricky inside. This time Herman bootlegged and ran straight into him.
It's 4th down and about 4. They brought in a new quarterback, but there's nobody lined up for the field goal. Yes, there is now, finally. Now everybody's rushing on. A lot of confusion because it looks like you got a new field goal man, Billy Ray Smith. They're going to fake this or something strange out there.
Billy Ray Smith.
The Saints weren't sure that there was a special team unit on the field for the Chargers. Therefore, they put their normal defense up, thinking that Matheson was going to take the snap because they didn't see the field goal kicker go out. Then it was Billy Ray Smith who lined up to kick the field goal. Suddenly the Saints realized, holy smokes, they got the special teams out there. And then it was like a Chinese fire drill or something. Everybody was going back and forth, and no one knew much of anything, and the timeout was finally taken by the Saints.
And that was the right thing to do there because everyone was confused, perhaps by design on the Chargers sideline, but certainly the Saints were, and they did the right thing in calling timeout. No telling what that play might have been.
Now, I don't think Billy Ray Smith was lined up to kick it. Do you?
I don't know.
I think the Chargers only had 10 guys out there. I think somebody forgot to go out, and it may have been the field goal kicker.
The way Mojenko's been kicking, maybe they decided to hold auditions out there, and Billy Ray was the first one to run out.
They've got 11 out there now, and Billy Ray's still out there. He's a defensive player, so you got to think something strange about the cook here. Maybe he is going to try out, Jim.
Well, it'll be a 32-yard field goal attempt. Chargers are still sending people in and out.
They're sending a 12th man in, Anthony Steele, and he's coming back to the sideline. It will be Billy Ray Smith, and he will try a field goal. The hold will be made at the 22 by Matheson, the quarterback. Billy Ray kicks it. He's got it airborne. He's got it up. He's got it no good. Wide to the left. He didn't hit that too badly, though, for a guy that I'm sure hasn't kicked in a long time, if at all. I'll tell you what. Well, I won't tell you what. We got a break coming up here. 11:03 to play in the game. A timeout in San Diego with the score. San Diego 18 and the Saints 10. Chargers leading the Saints 18-10 with 11:03 to play in this final preseason game of '85. Mojenko was on the bench sitting down without a helmet. You got to think he's hurt, Jim, and that's why he wasn't in there.
Well, that could be. I guess now whenever we check with the PR office of the visiting team, we're going to have to say, okay, and who is your third string field goal kicker?
That's right.
We just go through 2 deep usually, if that.
1st and 10, Saints ball at their own 20, down by 8, and the quarterback is Dave Wilson now on play action pass. Dave wants to throw, good protection. He's got Wayne Wilson out of the backfield who slipped, and he got it out maybe to the 22 or 23 at best. A gain of maybe 3 yards. Dave Wilson back in there now. He started the game, went only 1 quarter. You got to think if he's going to start the regular season against Kansas City, he'd get more playing time, but he's going to get at least 10 more minutes of this half or this quarter of the ball game if he stays in there the rest of the way.
I'm certain the Saints are replacing Bobby Hebert because they don't want his confidence to erode any further than it has in the second half. It's been a near disastrous one for Bobby.
2nd down 7, ball at the 23. Set split backfield as Wilson drops to throw, throwing to the left, wide open receiver. Lindsey Scott at the 38 to the 39 and out of bounds. Lindsey made a nice move in front of Lucius Smith, and he gets the completion. Johnny Poe on the left and Frank Watlett on the right, as the TV viewer saw a good close-up of the Saints sideline.
I think one of the most impressive stats of preseason is that Dave Wilson has not been sacked. He's been protected like a #1 quarterback, as the Saints used to protect the Kenny Stabler. And I think it's also a tribute to the fact that he's staying in there longer than he ever has before, and is not running at the first sign of pressure outside of the pocket.
1st and 10, ball just short of the 40-yard line. Handoff straight ahead. Tyrone Anthony to the 42-yard line, a gain of a little more than 2 yards. I was going to mention that when I was in college, Auburn played Florida, and they had a Heisman Trophy candidate who went on to win it, Steve Spurrier at quarterback. And I remember a ball game where Steve Spurrier, who was not their field goal kicker, kicking a field goal in the waning seconds to beat Auburn. I think he said, look, let me in there, I'll kick it. They did, and he did. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. The ball at the 42. 9:38 to play in the game. Chargers lead it by 8. Saints ball. Dropping to